Hello dear learners and welcome to MOOCs in Introduction to Sociology 2, and today we will be doing report writing. By now you already know what is research, how you carry out research activities, what are the various research designs, the tools which are required to collect the data, how you analyze these data. Now it is the time to give a shape to whatever you have obtained. So, these things needs to be documented in a structured form. Now, this documentation is actually what is the report writing. Therefore, a report is a highly structured form of writing and it is designed so that it can be read quickly and accurately, which means that whatever writing goes into your report should be written very methodically, it should be well designed and it should be very nicely written so that there is no confusion at all. Reports are written on a wide range of subjects for a wide variety of reasons. So, there can be many reasons for writing a report. It can be a research report, that whatever you research findings can go to your report. It can be report about some investigation. So, it can be the reports are of various types or of various nature. Structure and convention in written report stress the process by which the information are gathered and analyzed. So, the report writing should tell you the various ways of data collection and how those data has been analyzed. Reports should be organized for the convenience of the intended reader. All reports attempts to communicate findings for one reason or another, whether to inform decision makers, change public opinion, or maintain a record of development. So, this means that the research that is you have conducted or your findings that you try to share with your readers should inform your readers very well about the entire social situation so that they can take their decision. These decisions can help to frame some policy, some laws, and also these findings can be recorded for future use. Now, there are some stages of report writing: planning your work, collecting your information, organizing and structuring your information, writing the first draft, and checking and redrafting. If you conduct a good research, then it should be well planned, because this will help you to avoid any kind of confusion or any kind of problems or difficulties while carrying out your research activity. Collecting your information, like how you will collect your information, it is based on your type of research or what kind of research that you want to carry out, or what are the various reasons why you want to carry out your research. For every purpose you need to collect some information. So, for that you should know, so what kind of information will help you to write or to frame a good research. So, that is important. Now, organizing and structuring your information. You have collected your information or you have collected your data, but that data is a raw data. It needs to be analyzed, it needs to be understood well. For that, you have to organize and structure your information, that is, you have to analyze it. Then, writing the first draft. Once you collect your data, once you analyze your data or analyze your information, now it is time that you write down in a rough manner, or you just make a first draft of whatever is of whatever findings that you have. you make a first draft, and that is your first step to your report writing. So, you first of all you make a first draft. Next is checking and redrafting. If there is some kind of problem or some changes are required in that draft, then it needs to be corrected or corrections needs to be incorporated and you have to redo it. Therefore, checking and redrafting is the next stage. Now, let us come to the structure of your report. So, your report should have a title page. First is the title page. This title page will include a precise indication of the subject matter. That means maybe the name of the researcher, the title of the research. So, all these things should go to your title page. Next is the acknowledgement. We must acknowledge any kind of help that we might have received in collecting the information for the report. So, this is very important because without them we cannot complete our research. Therefore, in acknowledgement we basically thank or we extend our thanks or we acknowledge any kind of help that we receive from these people. Then the content. You should list all the main sections of the report in sequence with the page numbers they begin on. Content is basically the chapters that are included in the report writing. So, all the chapters needs to be written along with its page number in the content page. Therefore, the three pages of your report are the title page, the acknowledgement and the content. It should also have an abstract or the executive summary. There should be a short paragraph which summarizes the main contents of the report. It should include a short statement of the main tasks, the methods used, conclusions reached and any kind of informations or suggestions or recommendations that you have incorporated in your report. So, this is very important because abstract gives you an idea about the entire activity or entire issues that is being dealt up in the report or in the document that you have producing or you are furnishing. Your actual chapter of the report starts with an introduction. So, introduction should give the context and scope of the research or the report, and it should include your objective, statement of the problem, define the limits of the report, give a brief general background of the subject of the report, that is the company or the procedure, and it should also indicate the proposed development. In this particular chapter, that is in your introduction, you have to give your objective of your study. Now, what is the objective of the study? That is what you have tried to explore or what you had tried to find out. Say for example, in if you are doing a research activity on the problems or the causes of child marriage in our country. So, suppose for example, this is a research topic on which you are working on. So, the possible objectives of this particular topic can be what are the basic reasons why the children or why the parents try to give or what are the reasons why the children of our society are forced to early marriages. What are the various consequences of early marriages? So, like this, like what do you want to find out from this research? So, this is your objective, that is what you want to find out. Your sentences will start like to find out, to analyze, to understand, to explore. Okay? So, this is your objective. Next is the statement of the problem. like you have to show or you have to give an idea about how intense is the problem of child marriage. Suppose if I take up this particular example, so how important or how grave or serious is the problem of child marriage in our society. So that is like you can give various statistical data available from your various reports. So that will give an expression that why this particular study has been taken up, because this problem is really grave. That means it needs a further, we need to really research more on this particular topic. Therefore, this is the statement of the problem. Next is review of literature. Review of literature is a summary and analysis of the relevant publication on a topic. We first have to understand what is meant by the literature. In this case, the literature is a collection of all the relevant written sources on a topic. So, we try to understand the problem from already existing sources, from the previous studies. So, it can be through journals. We can get articles from journals, from book chapters, from newspapers. So, these information will actually help us to plan our research. Now, we come to our methodology. Methodology is the heart of any research, because if you go wrong in your methodology, you will get wrong data. So, therefore, you should be very careful while you plan your methodology. So, in this section, you should state how you carry out your inquiry or what form of inquiry you are intending to take up. So, methodology will include universe of study, justification of choosing the population, research approach, research design, and tools of data collection. Now, what do you mean by universe of the study? That is the geographical area in which you are trying to carry out your work or you are trying to carry out your research activity. So, you have to specifically or you have to specify the universe of study. You can also use some kind of resource maps, to show the, the area. So, that will help the population, that you have to explain the population, the nature of population, the entire demographic profile of that particular area needs to be written in this portion. That is, in the universe of study, you actually mention the geographical area in which you are trying to carry out your research activity. Then, the justification of choosing the population. Like, why have you chosen that particular population for your research activity? For example, if you are working with people who are affected by, say, AILA, where will you go? You will go to, say, if you are in West Bengal, you will go to Sundarban areas to find out how people were affected, because that was the zone or that was the area in which people were affected they were really affected in this particular geographical area. So, that is your justification of choosing that area or that geographical area for carrying out your research. Next is your research approach. So, basically there are three kind of approaches, that is qualitative, quantitative and eclectic. Quantitative, as you all know, it deals with your it is basically a statistical analysis of whatever you do. Here you have a huge sample size, you have to you should know the various sampling techniques while you collect, while you choose your respondents. You should give proper analysis, the analytical tools have to be there accordingly. While in qualitative design or qualitative approach, it is based on extensive or in-depth interviews. It can be done by by carrying out case studies, by carrying out ethnographic studies, oral histories, or even focus group discussions. So, here the sample size is much lesser than what you have to take in quantitative analysis. So, quantitative analysis is basically the statistical analysis, and in this qualitative analysis, or in this approach, it is basically an in-depth study by which you take by carrying out FGDs and case studies. And eclectic method or the eclectic approach is the approach where you can do triangulation, or when you can use both the qualitative and the quantitative approaches. So, that is also known as the mixed approach. So, therefore, the three approaches that we have discussed are quantitative, qualitative and the mixed approach. Next is the research design. Research design is the blueprint of any research. As you have already known from your previous discussions, you know that what is research design, why it is important, the various types of research designs, that is descriptive, exploratory, experimental. So, there are so many kinds of research design. Now, based on your research, you have to choose your research design. Then comes your tools of data collection. Tools of data collection is like what you apply, or what do you apply, or what do you use, or what are the various mechanism by which you are carrying out or you are collecting your data. You can have a interview schedule, you can have question guides, then you have observation methods. So, there are so many ways by which you can have your, or you can frame, or you can develop your own tools for data collection. You can also frame some, we can develop some scales for collecting your data. So, all these things will come in your tools of data collection. Now, we come to data analysis. Now, you have your data, you have collected your data. It is important that you present your data in a very systematic way. The most complicated informations, it can be made easier if you interpret it correctly, or if you analyze it correctly. So, it can be done by various ways. It can be also done by graphical representations, by charts, diagrams, so that it can help the readers to identify the key results, and it will break the flow of written text. It becomes very monotonous, like, you keep on writing something, if there is no table, nothing, that makes the entire report very monotonous. But when you incorporate, or if you insert some pictures or some graphical representation, the report will become interesting to read. You will find that, your mind will also do some work, your brain will start working. You can analyze these graphical representations, these diagrams. So, that will also help you to understand the information, or to get a complete information about the whole research. Next chapter is results and discussion. So, you have collected your data, you have analyzed it. Now, you have to share your findings, you have to share the result of your research. So, in this section, this is a section where you analyze and interpret your results, drawing from the information which you have collected, explaining its significance. So, this is the section in which you share your results with your reader and tell them about your experiences while you have collected your data, your ideas, your feeling about certain data. So, this is where you interpret and analyze it from your perspective, from your point of view. Identify important issues and suggest explanations for your findings. Outline any problems encountered and try and represent a balanced view. Suppose you find out your finding is the child marriage is due to poverty. Now you have to discuss why poverty leads to child marriage. Because the parents are so poor that they cannot manage or they cannot really spend much money on their girl child. So they find it convenient that to get their children or get their kids or girls get married. So this is the analysis part, or this is the discussion. So the entire report or the entire section of this particular section, that is result and discussion, will interpret, and it will also give a proper explanation and the significance of the problem should come in surface, and it will help the readers to really think about this problem. They will also, it should be written in such a fashion, it should be written in such a manner that the readers will also get something to think about. They will also try to understand your perspective, and they will also have this urge of carrying out further research on this particular topic from their perspective. The last part is your conclusion and recommendation, where you conclude the entire research. So in this section of the report, which draws together the main issues, it should be expressed clearly and should not present any new information. In this section, please don't incorporate anything new. Your findings, whatever you have already analyzed, that should be there in this particular chapter. We can suggest, we can make our suggestions. So we give our own suggestions and recommendations in a separate section, or we can also include in this particular chapter. You should have references, you should have, you should cite, your citations should be properly done. So references it is a very important chapter, because it is important that you give precise and accurate details of all the works by other authors which has been referred within the report. So you have to acknowledge, as it is important to give proper acknowledgement to the authors or the writers. References are normally listed in alphabetical order, or it can be done by author's name or in a numerical order as well. So lastly, to conclude, so what are the important points that we should remember while writing our report? Use clear and concise language. Your language should be very clear. It should not be confusing. Sentences should be short and jargon free. Paragraphs tightly focused. The readers must understand where the paragraphs ends and a new paragraph starts. Correct grammatical, you have to correct your grammatical errors. The illustrations should be clearly labeled. Headings should be precise. The text and diagrams must be clearly linked. So whatever is there in your text, and for that if you have some supporting diagram, it should be linked clearly. Tables should be easily interpreted. So whatever you get from your tables, the percentage that you have you have calculated in a particular table, if it is a statistical one, then it should not produce any, or it should not give rise to any kind of ambiguity. It should be done very, very accurately. Acknowledgement of all the sources is very important. So to conclude, your reports should be written accurately, clearly and succinctly. Thank you so much.